Have you ever wondered what it feels like to live in a world where the rich and the poor are separated not just by wealth but by an invisible wall, so high that even the brightest minds struggle to see over it? In India, this divide is more than just a matter of income. It's a gap that shapes lives, molds destinies, and fuels countless stories of hope and despair. From the glittering skyscrapers of Mumbai to the dark, cramped alleyways of Dharavi, this divide creates a society where the choices you make, the opportunities you're given, and the very air you breathe can all be dictated by the social class you were born into. But what happens when someone born on the right side of this divide begins to question everything they thought they knew about privilege and poverty? Meet Arun, a young man born into an affluent family in the heart of Mumbai. To Arun, the world is nothing short of a playground. He lives in a luxurious home surrounded by opulence that many can only dream of, expensive cars, grand parties, and a life where every wish is fulfilled before it's even made. His days are filled with the best education, connections with influential people, and a future that seems predetermined, secure, and predictable. But behind the lavish walls of his life, Arun is troubled by a deeper void, a lack of understanding, a disconnect from the struggles of those who live on the other side of this vast divide. Arun has always been insulated from the harsh realities that millions face in the slums, believing that the world is simply divided into the haves and have-nots. Little does he know, this very belief will soon be challenged in ways he never imagined, forcing him to confront the deep-rooted biases that have defined his existence for so long. Arun's life is a testament to privilege. He lives in a sprawling mansion in South Mumbai, an area where the streets are wide, clean, and lined with trees. The air smells of success, of wealth accumulated through generations. Every morning, Arun drives through posh neighborhoods, the glistening high-rises around him reflecting his future, bright and secure. His family, deeply rooted in the business world, ensures that every aspect of his life is taken care of. The finest schools, the best tutors, and vacations in exotic destinations are all part of his daily reality. Every evening, he joins his friends at exclusive parties, surrounded by laughter, champagne, and the kind of conversations that only people like him are privy to. Discussions about stocks, real estate, and the best places to eat in the city. Arun is a part of this world, and for him, it's all that matters. But as time goes on, he begins to feel a subtle emptiness, a gnawing sensation deep inside. Despite his success, despite the glimmer of everything he's always wanted, something feels incomplete. Arun has never truly had to work for anything. Every path has been paved for him. He's never had to fight for his place in the world, and he certainly has never known the desperation of those living without hope. His world is one of comfort, and in this comfort, he's come to believe that this is how life is meant to be. For everyone. He's never questioned why some people live in mansions while others live in slums, until one day, a chance encounter forces him to see the world through a different lens. It was a typical day when Arun's life took an unexpected turn. The school where he attended was hosting a charity fair to support underprivileged children, and Mira, an artist from the Dharavi slums, was invited to display her handmade goods. Her booth, nestled in the corner of the crowded event, stood in stark contrast to the polished surroundings of the fair. Mira wasn't like anyone Arun had met before. She was tough, resilient, but there was an air of sadness about her, something that didn't quite fit into the picture-perfect world Arun was accustomed to. Her clothes were simple, her hands calloused from years of hard work, but her eyes, those eyes, spoke of a depth Arun had never seen in the people he knew. There was pain, but also hope in them. Curiosity piqued, Arun approached her booth, drawn by the intricate designs of the handmade jewelry and crafts. They exchanged pleasantries, and Arun found himself intrigued by Mira's story. She spoke of the struggles of living in Dharavi, of fighting for survival every day, of dreams that felt too distant to reach. But there was a fire in her voice, a determination that Arun couldn't ignore. And yet, even as he listened, he couldn't shake the discomfort he felt. Arun had never encountered someone from a world so different from his own. While he admired Mira's spirit, a part of him still saw her through the lens of his privilege. She's so different, Arun thought, so far removed from the life I know. How can we possibly understand each other? Despite this, something inside Arun stirred. He left the fair feeling unsettled, his mind racing with questions he had never asked himself before. Days passed, but Arun couldn't forget Mira. He found himself thinking about her, the way she spoke about her life, the strength in her eyes. Yet, the tension between his ingrained views and the new understanding he was trying to develop kept him at a distance. His friends and family continued to reinforce his beliefs. You have to protect yourself from the harshness of the world. There's nothing you can do for people like them, his mother often said. But Mira's story lingered, and so did the growing unease within Arun. One afternoon, Arun received distressing news. Mira had been swindled by a group of local criminals, losing all the money she had made from selling her artwork. Her dreams were shattered. With no other means to support herself and her family, Mira felt hopeless. Arun, torn between helping her and adhering to his family's strict values, faced an internal battle. His mother's voice echoed in his head. Don't waste your time on people like her. They will always find a way to bring you down. Arun felt trapped in a web of guilt and privilege, unsure of how to reconcile his desire to help with his upbringing. He tried to ignore the pull to reach out to Mira, but her face haunted him. Then, one night, he stood at a crossroads. His girlfriend, Ananya, invited him to an exclusive event where the elite of Mumbai would gather. It was the life Arun knew, the life he had always been a part of. But as he watched Ananya and his friends laugh, discussing the latest trends in luxury, he realized something profound. He was no longer content. This world, his world, suddenly felt hollow. Determined to find a way forward, Arun visited Mira's neighborhood in Dharavi. The place was nothing like the shiny world he was accustomed to. The narrow lanes were filled with people struggling to make ends meet. Yet there was an unspoken bond between the residents, a sense of community that Arun had never seen before. Arun sought out Mira, who was once again selling her goods at a small local market. She greeted him with a guarded smile, clearly surprised by his presence. Arun sat down beside her, and this time, he didn't feel the discomfort he once had. He realized that, despite their differences, they shared something deep, a desire for something more than just survival. Mira was skeptical at first, but Arun insisted on helping her. He reached out to his contacts and managed to secure a small grant for her, giving her the chance to restart her business. Arun's family didn't approve of his actions, but for the first time in his life, he didn't care. He knew this was the right thing to do. In the weeks that followed, Mira's business grew. Her art began to reach more people, and slowly, the community around her started to thrive. Arun and Mira forged a deep friendship based on mutual respect. The world no longer seemed as divided as it once did. Arun had seen beyond the surface and discovered that true wealth wasn't measured in money, but in human connection. Arun had changed, but so had Mira. They weren't just two people from different worlds anymore. They were partners in something far greater. The divide that once seemed so insurmountable had been bridged by their shared humanity. Arun looked at Mira with a sense of fulfillment he had never known before. He realized that by reaching out to those less fortunate, he had discovered a life worth living, one of compassion, one of connection. Mira had taught him that even in the most broken places, there was beauty waiting to be uncovered. And so the world became a little smaller that day. Two lives, once separated by the invisible wall of social class, had collided and formed something beautiful. Arun had found his true calling, not in wealth, not in privilege, but in the simple act of making a difference in the lives of others. As the days passed, Arun's life continued to change. The transformation was not just about the external actions he took, but the internal shift that happened within him. What had once seemed like an impossible divide between him and Mira, between wealth and poverty, between privilege and struggle, now felt like a gap that could be bridged with understanding, compassion, and a willingness to connect on a deeper level. The grant Arun secured for Mira had not only allowed her business to thrive, but it also brought attention to the broader issues within Dharavi and other underprivileged communities. Arun, no longer content to live in the confines of his affluent world, began volunteering and using his platform to speak out about the systemic inequalities that kept people like Mira in poverty. He used his family's resources to create awareness about the untold stories of the slums, showing people that real change began with the courage to see the humanity in others. Mira, on the other hand, was no longer the woman trapped in the cycle of poverty and exploitation. She became a symbol of resilience and hope. Someone who had once been overlooked, but was now being celebrated for her talent and determination. She continued to work hard, but now with the knowledge that people cared, that there was help beyond her small world, and that her dreams were not as impossible as they once seemed. Together, Arun and Mira worked on projects that benefited the entire community, creating a ripple effect of kindness, opportunity, and change. Their partnership went beyond business. It became a testament to the power of human connection in breaking down barriers that society had set in place. Arun looked back on his journey, from the comfortable, isolated life he once knew, to the deep, fulfilling purpose he had now found. He understood that true wealth didn't come from material possessions, but from the lives you touch and the changes you make in the world. He also realized that the most valuable lesson he had learned wasn't taught in a classroom or in the boardrooms of his family's business. It was taught by Mira, who had shown him the beauty of resilience, kindness, and the importance of empathy. In the end, Arun had discovered a world far richer than anything money could offer. He had found meaning in his life not by standing on top of the world, but by extending his hand to lift others. It was a lesson he would carry with him for the rest of his life, that the true measure of success is not in how much you accumulate, but in how much you give, how much you care, and how much you are willing to help others break free from the chains of inequality. True wealth isn't measured by what you have, but by what you give. The greatest legacy we can leave behind is not in the riches we accumulate, but in the lives we touch, the barriers we break, and the love we share. Only when we learn to see beyond our differences and embrace our shared humanity can we build a world where every person has the opportunity to thrive.